What's up, family? 10% happier journey. I'm getting ready to get into this. I'm excited. So excited. I jumped on the live. I didn't even check my face. Didn't even see if okay, I halfway did it. So what's up, everybody? Today is 2/29/20, and this is the 10% happier self-care journey. If I seem a bit anxious right now, it's because I am, let me see, I'm sorry, I'm pasting notes to the chat. Oh, they're not pasting. So it's because I'm at the market with my dad. And I wanted to squeeze a 10% happier thing in here. Okay, so it looks like I have to grab the notes. And we're back. So I had to jump off real quick so that I could copy my notes and paste them in the chat, because I'm doing the 10% happier deal from the card today, and so I got my notes on the screen. So here we go. Today's session is what loving kindness is and isn't. 10% happier self-care journey, 2/29/20. Loving kindness is essentially generosity, love, peace, presence, caring, and attention without attachments and or expectations. It's normal to have some degree of hope that the offerings will be appreciated and or reciprocated. However, once your hope moves to expectation, disappointment, and frustration, once it moves, to expectation, disappointment and frustration is much more possible, and in some cases inevitable. So that was a lot. That was a mouthful. I think I need to back up a little bit. So essentially, we've been talking about loving kindness for about the last 2 days, what it is, and today what's being introduced into the equation is what it isn't. And the main thing that it isn't is generosity with attachment. So loving kindness is essentially generosity, love, peace, presence, caring, and attention without attachments and or expectations. And it's normal to have some degree of hope because we are human beings, who desire love and attention, affection and validation. These are things that come with the territory. But when you are really shedding on your loving kindness skills, the goal is to understand that it's you giving the same generosity that you are, pressing to give every day, but just making sure that you don't have any attachments to the expectations or results, because your desire is to achieve freedom of giving. That's how you're going to really be able to do this thing. So the second thing here is the aim is twofold. We give to free others and to free ourselves. Without both of these aspects, the experience is incomplete. To give freely without expectations is truly a celebration of freedom. The aim is twofold. And we talk about it a lot, All of us know that the most how could I put it? Some people would say like the most charitable thing. Some people would say, the purpose, your life's purpose and that kind of thing. But we're all out here, trying to give positivity. Many of us are, at least that's our story and we're sticking to it. But as you're giving this generosity, the main thing is that it could be hard when you are in deep expectation, because at the same time as you're giving, you're also a human being who needs the same thing that you're giving. But if you can develop your empathy, your equanimity, you could develop your skills as far as understanding what loving kindness is, then it'll help you to not have attachments. And that's the only way you're going to be able to hang in there, to not have attachments to your actions. This was something I started realizing deeply when I was studying Eastern mysticism for the first time. And I never forget when I came across this, I guess you could call it a verse or a scripture in the Hindu text, the Bhagavad Gita. It talked about, it almost put the do good for goodness sake thing into perspective. It basically said anybody that's working for a reward is basically not doing it for the right reasons. That's not the most virtuous, authentic, like highest of the totem pole thinking journey. Like, you know, and I was like, wow, that really makes a lot of sense, because it's easier to do something because of a lollipop, you know, that you're going to get at the end of the journey, or it's easy to do something because somebody holds out a reward in front of your face, or equally it's easy to do something if the contrast is that someone says, if you don't do it, you're going to receive this punishment. That's actually not hard to make a choice based on those terms. It's harder to not have any of those and to do things because you internally feel that they're the right thing to do, because you care about your neighbor, you care about the world around you, or you feel like it would not be beneficial to do that, you know, for the same reason. You think about the consequences, you know, you're weighing the pros and cons, but it's not coerced, people. So if you know my language, you know what I'm talking about right now. You know, this is a lot of our traditional religious approaches and that kind of thing. And so the goal is to develop a skill where we are not subject to that kind of thinking. Okay, next thing. So practicing this regularly on ourselves increases our capacity greatly to freely offer to others. So what are we talking about practicing on ourselves? That would be things like being gentle with yourself, you know, seeing yourself in a place of being safe and at peace, and even using phrases like, may I be at peace, may I be safe, may I be well, may I live at ease, you know, things to really give you that kind of warm and fuzzies, as they say. And, you know, practicing that on yourself allows you to be more gentle with yourself and more understanding of what you go through. Because truthfully, how can you help anyone else through what they're going through if you can't help yourself with what you're going through? Being able to be patient with yourself and gentle and non-judgmental and all those kind of positive things. I'm looking out for my dad, you all. That's why I keep looking around. So the next thing you do is to practice visualizing friends and close family and extending phrases of loving kindness to them. May you be happy, at peace, at ease, etc. This helps your overall attitude, spirits, and interactions with others and the world around you in a positive, peaceful way. If you notice any feelings of demands, attachments, or expectations creeping in, recognize it, be gentle with yourself, take a couple of deep breaths, accept it, and simply lead yourself back to loving phrases and thoughts. You can even use your imagination to visualize them in those positive scenarios. I think that's a really healthy thing to do. You know, see people in the place where you desire them to be from the positive perspective, and you can help them to get there because you'll be practicing more loving kindness. Remember, the focus is progress, not perfection. The practice of focusing, allowing your mind to drift, gently bringing it back to the task at hand, and not judging ourselves in the process is the perfection of meditation, and will always be the process and progress. Although you'll naturally start to live in certain mental spaces above others over time. That's really the take-home point. The take-home point is you practice this a little bit at a time. I'm practicing every day. I'm practicing right now as we speak, you know, with things that I'm just thinking about that's going through my mind. And that's the progress. You practice it, then you're able to apply the loving kindness, the ability to breathe, the ability to not judge yourself or others, the ability to just stay calm and even-tempered, you know. And if you be the change, then you will see the change around you, because you'll realize the whole time that you were the only person that needed to change. And then other than that, everybody take responsibility for themselves, and we can all be well. Thank you all for watching. Marianne, Robert, thanks for hanging out. Bunky, Stephen Carter, Vernon Campbell, and everybody else that will be watching this afterwards. Drop a line, let me know what you think. I know I had to rattle that off pretty fast. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you have any thoughts, on that, what your contrasts are, if any. And as always, peace and be well. If you'd like to support me to make more content like this, look for that info in the comments and description. And let me know the last time you had to practice this. Showing somebody loving kindness, whether you felt like they deserved it or not. Tell me about your experience. That's what I also want to start doing, where we share more. I want to hear more of your personal experiences with the things that I've been talking about on this journey. So until next time, peace and be well.